I'm Caleb Brooks with the AHSAA Radio Network. I'm at Mountain Brook High School, joined by head volleyball coach, Coach Vickie Nichols, head coach of the 7A state champs this year. And Coach, I'm sure that brings a big smile to your face. And
oh yeah, it does.
finally getting the title. I mean, you've been making it and you've been getting so close, and then to finally get it this year, how special was it?
It was really cool. We've lost in the semifinals the last 2 years to McGill-Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
And so from the very beginning of this season, one of our goals wasn't just to win the state championship, but it was, everybody sets that as their main goal, but it's just what you have to do along the way to get there. And we knew that McGill would be who we would have to take out to win. And so that's why we play them the first match of the season every year. Because then I have all season to know what I got to fix in order for us to beat them. So yeah, it was a big win. I was really proud of the girls. They worked hard and stayed focused. We played very steady the entire season. So it wasn't shocking to me. It was just kind of one of those, okay, we did it.
You mentioned playing them first game of the year. How much better do you think your team got from playing them then to playing them when you did?
They swept us here in 3 when we played them the first match of the season. So to be able to go through the whole season and sweep them in 3 at the state championship, that shows that we came a long way.
How much added motivation did the players have going into that game, having already played them and get swept by them?
Obviously, that's their eyes have been set on that for 2 years now. That's who we're going to have to beat. And I think that we had split matches for the season. We beat them in the Blaylock tournament in the semifinals. And that was the last tournament of the season before area. So I think that was just a really good thing. We didn't walk away from that like, phew, okay, we beat them. It was like, yes, we beat them, and we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
So it was a big change in our thinking and our attitude from last year and the year before.
You see it with groups all the time that they make it, but they just can't get over the hump. Now that you've finally gotten over the hump, do you think that this is really going to be a program changing,
I believe it will be. I think that, I only had 1 senior my first season here, and my second season, no seniors. And so this is the first season, really, we've had seniors. Yeah. We have 5. And it makes all the difference in the world to have some maturity and have some leadership. And I think the girls, the younger kids saw, man, this is great.
Yeah.
And we told them afterwards, just remember what this feels like, because we're going to be back. You're going to be chasing the same thing next year. But I think it did renew their excitement for what it is we're trying to accomplish year after year after year. So
what is your message now to your group? Now you're going to be the one being chased.
Got the target on your back. Yeah. For McGill to have won it the last 2 years, I mean, they were the ones that had the pressure going into this match, not us. They had to defend what they had done. We were just excited and ready to play. So I think now, the focus will have to be that we do have a target on our back, and we're going to have to realize that everybody that plays us wants to beat us that bad. So we're going to have to really stay focused, and you can't let down any match that you play. You have to go out there every time that your mind is set on, we're going to win this. You can't take a day off.
Yeah, and Bob Jones was kind of in the same boat y'all were. They'd lost to McGill really the last 2 years.
The semifinals, the finals. They were in the finals last 2 years.
And so, when you look at all 3 of y'all's programs, I think that it's safe to say y'all been the most consistent over these last few years. What do you think it is that has made all 3 of y'all as consistent as you've been?
It's a good question. I don't know. We all have really solid players. Most of our kids, they play club. They love the sport, and when you love a sport, you're going to work harder at it. And I think it's just the consistency of winning. Once you learn how to win, it's easier to keep winning than if you have to learn how to win. That's hard in the beginning. So our girls have been successful, and it's just exciting to see that our seniors get to go out with a state championship.
Yeah.
Because they've wanted it for 3 years now, and we got it. So I think it's good.
Coming into here, athletics has always been good at Mountain Brook, but really the last couple of years, I think all the sports have been very good these last few years. What do you think it is that's made Mountain Brook kind of step their game? I mean, football has been really, really good. You got basketball's winning titles, baseball's right there with a chance.
We got really smart, hard-working kids. I mean, they work hard, and I think that's the key for us. Is that I knew going into the season that it would come down to ball control. And, you know, kids don't want to hear that ball control wins or loses for you, but that's really the truth. It's not how hard you hit, it's your ball control. Because if you can't control the ball, you can't hit. And so I think that we proved over and over again that we have a solid ball control team. Defensively, you know, learning to pick up the harder hitting teams, being able to dig it. And we got to that point where we weren't afraid when people were swinging, you know, bring it on, we're gonna dig this ball. And it makes a huge difference. The final match was huge with serve receive and defense. And our girls just did a phenomenal job of passing and digging the balls. So we were really excited to see that. Feel like we finished like we should have.
Yeah. You know, you said one senior really the last 2 years, and now that you had 5, what are going to be the challenges next year's team really faces losing those 5?
I've been thinking about that. You know, obviously it's always hard when you lose a skilled set of seniors, and this group of seniors is very skilled. And I think that as far as the skills, we've got younger kids that are going to be able to step in. It's the maturity that we're going to have to work toward. And that takes time. You can't just snap your fingers and, okay, we're mature now. But that's going to be the biggest gap. It's just giving us time next season to grow from the beginning. And by mid-season, we should be clicking on all cylinders, you know, as far as they've had some experience now. They had it this year, and now we have some more in the fall. So I think that's going to be the key. We've got a good group coming up. I'm just looking at, you know, positionally trying to figure out where the best positions for some of our kids should be to make sure we fill the holes like we need to. But
you know, I visited Enterprise earlier this year and talked to them, and one of the things that their coach brought up was just finding quality opponents to play around them is kind of tough for them. How much do you think it does help you and your group that you do have quality around here?
It does, and you know, that's the way. When I put the schedule together last year, I was looking at that. We played more matches this year than we did last year. But I knew that if we were going to make it to the end and end with a state championship, we had to have that competition along the way. And it had to be such that it was difficult weekend after weekend, and it wasn't a day off from, oh, okay, we're not playing today. And so the girls, I think, they saw as time went. I mean, we started out with the Bodie tournament, which is the opening tournament for everybody. And I think the girls shocked themselves into winning it. That's the first time Mountain Brook has ever won the Bodie tournament. So that was a huge win. And the team we beat, I found out later that they've been ranked in the top 25 of the nation for half the season. It was like, wow, that's what you beat. You didn't know it when we played them, but that's what we started out with. So, you know, really good competition. We've had a lot of strong competition. Fortunately, we don't have to travel a lot to get it because it's in North Alabama, this area.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
That helps.
You know, winning it now and having it just for you personally, I mean, just how satisfying is that for you to you know, kind of just look at it and say, man, we actually accomplished it.
You know, I don't think it's really sunk in yet. I keep asking the girls, do you feel like a state champion? They're like, I don't know yet. It's like it's not real, but we know it is. And I was like, yeah, it feels really good. Personally, it feels really good. I've coached for a really long time. I've won state championships as an assistant at the junior college level, at the high school level. So this is really my first as a head coach in high school to win. But I think for me, satisfied-wise, it was like in high school, we won 2 state championships and state runner-up twice to McGill all 4 years. So for me, this was personal. And it feels really good. I've done it as a player, and now I've done it as a coach. And it was really good because my players, they see the same teams every year, and that's the team they've got to beat. So McGill, they've been good for years and years and years. That hadn't changed. I mean, they get through a season, they reload, and they're, you know, ready to come back at you. And we know that. But I think our program now is to the point where there's really not a lull either. When we graduate people, we got some coming in. So I think we're going to be fine. We're just going to have to keep working hard. Can't take a vacation.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Coach, thank you for taking time to sit down with me. Congratulations to y'all on winning a state championship and you know, accomplishing what only 7 teams in the state were able to accomplish. So,
well, you know, in the 7A state championship, out of the 6 years, Mountain Brook's won 4 of the 6.
Yeah.
And McGill's won the other 2. So it is a really big deal that between the 2 schools, we're the only ones that have won a 7A state championship. So something the girls can be proud of.
Oh, for sure.
We're proud of.
Yes, ma'am.
But thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Good luck to y'all going forward.
Thanks.